to YHTV's Trinity of Life. This is episode 23. I'm Christina Suzama, and I welcome you again and again to our show. Thank you so much for joining me as I continue to explore this wonderful, fascinating world of healing arts, meditation, therapies, and all these different modalities of helping us find balance in our individual journeys. We are so excited to always meet those who are on the leading edge of creating change on this planet. Today, we are going on a journey with a soul healing practitioner and founder of Dance of Liberation. Her name, Parashakti. She's descended from a long line of spiritual healers, moved from her native Jerusalem in Israel to the United States to pursue her lifelong exploration of healing art of dance and ritual. Parashakti is a certified yoga instructor and had the honor of receiving teachings from Swami Satchidananda, who is the founder of Integral Yoga. After her yoga teacher training, she received the name Parashakti. Soon, her yoga lifestyle led to her study with shaman Wilbert Alex, where she received the roots to create her work. She has been co-facilitating One World Spirit Dance at the Tree of Life in Arizona, founded by Dr. Gabriel Cousins, her teacher and mentor. She has worked with over 10,000 dancers from around the world and has led workshops and retreats at some of the world's leading holistic centers, including the Tree of Life in Arizona, Esalen Institute in California, Jivamukti Yoga School and the Omega Institute in New York, Alexis Zorba's Retreat Center in Greece, and the Zorba Festival in Israel. It gives us great honor to welcome Parashakti.
Yay.
Hello, Parashakti.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to have you on our show here at YHTV. Thank you for gifting us.
Thank you. Great to continue the dance with you.
Yes, well, it's so amazing to be able to catch you in the middle of all your travels.
Yes, that is a good way to say it, to catch me.
Yeah. You're this goddess that just dances everywhere and are all around us. You just share all this energy and it's like, okay, let's just, it's like catching Tinkerbell for a moment. Just a moment.
Well, it's an honor to ground and root from being caught. So Thank you.
Yes, we're so selfish here. No. So Parashakti, it would be, people think about dance. It's like yoga. When people hear of Yoga Hub, what do they think of? They think of yoga. They always say to me, where's your yoga studio? Where is, where do you teach yoga? And meanwhile, I'm going, well, I'm not a certified yoga teacher. We don't have a studio. It's this huge concept that I would say more the Western world has around yoga. And yoga is about balance in life and balance in well-being. And so many forms of it, from meditation to breathing and to all the different modalities, all brought together. And here we have the word Dance of Liberation. And then, of course, I'm sure you've run into a lot of people go, dance. Well, I'm not into dance. Not dance. I'm not, all these reasons and preconceived notions of what this might be. Dance of Liberation. Oh, it's such a girly thing. Oh yeah, okay. So can you begin by giving us a little bit or a lot about your background? Because I always believe, our backgrounds really bring us, our journeys really bring us to where we are at today in the world. Can you share with us like your childhood and what brought you to where you are now?
Absolutely. So because the theme is dance, I started dancing when I was 4 years old. And from that age, through the practice of dance and movement, I cultivated the knowing that my body is the way that I'm going to be expressing myself in the world. So from a very young age, I already knew my mission. And I believe that, once you have a mission, once you have a calling and you follow that, then the pathway opens up for you. And so there's been, since the age of 4, a direct um, gift that I've been able to develop. And it started off with me performing, and of course I went down that route of performance. And then through my physical injuries through dance, that's
Mm.
when I actually started exploring the healing art of dance, because suddenly my expression, my mission, my determination was
Mm.
all taken away from me. And I was injured, I was dismantled, I was taken apart. And of course, the doctors also said, "Oh, you're not going to be able to dance." And I was in casts, and
Oh,
the
wow.
what they say. And so I went on a what I would call a dark night of the soul,
Mhm.
and started exploring the pain, not only the physical pain, but the emotional pain that came from these injuries. And so the injuries is what really brought me into creating Dance of Liberation. And along the way, I've had such masterful teachers and elders that held the dance floor for me to explore the deepest parts of myself. And through exploring the deepest parts of myself, I created Dance of Liberation.
Mm. How beautiful. May I ask what your injuries were so that other dancers out there who are in this, what did you call it? This
Yes.
dark,
Dark Night of the
dark night
Soul.
of the soul. That's so beautiful.
Yes.
Because as we know, I'm immersed being in Los Angeles around many, many dancers, and some have had injuries, and some have even come down with MS, things like that, or just gotten to the point in their lives at an age where it does begin to hurt the body, and as you say, they feel dismantled, they feel shattered. Would you be open to share with us what had happened to you?
Absolutely. So all of my injuries, I'll start with this sharing, they all happened before performance. So that in itself was already a sign, as we call
Oh.
the signs and symbols of our life. And so my first injury was a dislocation in my knee. I did a kick in the air and dislocated my knee and fell flat to the floor. And that was 3 days before performance that I had a solo, and this was in Israel.
Wow.
And then my second and third and fourth injuries were, I broke the fifth metatarsal bone, which is the pinky bone on my foot, on both legs. And also
Oh.
before performances, rehearsing. So what I went on my spiritual, as I like to call it, investigation is, why during rehearsals? Why is it that it was before performance? And
Hmm.
what is my body trying to tell me? What is the universe trying to tell me? What is God trying to tell me with these injuries?
And always right before
So
performance.
yes,
And,
yes.
and what form of
I did
dance
have
were
I
you
did have
doing?
an injury that was actually during a performance where
Oh.
I broke again the fifth metatarsal bone. So my body was speaking to me, and it was a much bigger picture of again preparing me
Mm.
to go and explore and create this healing modality that
Mm.
is dance of liberation.
Oh my goodness. And what form of dance were you doing at the time?
Well, as I shared earlier with you when we were preparing, I did start with to be classically trained, and very quickly, I would say at the age I started at 4, and at the age of about 8 or 9, I told my mom I don't want to go back to my Russian ballet teacher, and it was because of it was so strict,
Mhm.
and the just being told what to do from a very young age was kind of an issue for me. I always needed to be able to express myself. And there's a great story that my mom always tells, is that when I was rehearsing for one of my ballet recitals when I was very young, I think it was at the age of 6, that I rehearsed, and the teacher would always complain to my mom that I was doing my own thing. And then in the performance itself, I went ahead and did my own thing.
She said it anyways, right?
So I always love telling that story, because that is the story of my life, and that's really how I've created what I do today is because what I teach people through the dance of liberation is to find their own authentic movement. So it's not about copying anyone else. And therefore, we use the ancient practice of the blindfold, which is a shamanic practice, is going into the darkness and really dancing and finding your own authentic, first and foremost, voice, and then expressing it through your body.
Mm, mm. Beautiful. All those blindfolds, I tell you, where you can't judge anything.
Exactly.
So through the years, what made you decide to begin with yoga? Because that was one of your certifications that is in your biography, is that you have yoga training and for a good 2 years.
Right. So my last injury was when I was actually on my way or in my way to getting my AA degree as a dance major. And I came from the States when I was 22 after the Army. I did the Army in Israel. And I came to the States and I went to Santa Monica College to get my AA degree. I was a dance major. And then I had again an injury before performance. And in that time, I really needed to get support because this was again many injuries out of many injuries, and I knew that something is wrong, something is not right. So my dance director, Linda Gold from Santa Monica College, said, you should. Once I healed, she said you should come to this yoga class that we're having at the Santa Monica College. It's a mastery class for the dancers, and I went, and it was Rod Stryker. And it was my first yoga class. And that's what really took me into the depth of, as you call it, finding your inner balance and finding the balance between the masculine and the feminine. And it was so much more practice than just yoga. I was just finding everything through the practice. And so I decided, and I go, when I dedicate myself, I dedicate myself. So I said, okay, I need now to do yoga teacher training. And so I ended up in, believe it or not, an ashram in New York City, Integral Yoga, that was then run by Swami Satchidananda, who's no longer with us. And I lived in the ashram and studied there. And that's where I would lock myself up in yoga studios and really explore movement as a therapy. And you the modality also of yoga, but from yoga using the asana practice to go into more of a dance practice. And again, that's where the laboratory began, of 2 years of blindfolding myself and dancing in the seclusion of darkness and really finding a new truth of my calling.
Now, was that something that he had encouraged you to do?
Swami Satchidananda?
Yes. Like to actually lock yourself up or bring yourself aside and blindfold yourself, or how did that come about?
He physically was living at the ashram in Yogaville in Virginia, which I visited and spent time at actually for 3 months. No, the practice itself was my own exploration. It was through his teachings that inspired me to really find my authentic self. And through my authentic, only through dance. So yes, so it was an inspiration living in the ashram, and Swami Satchidananda's teachings are exquisite. They're a philosophy, they're a way of life, they're a map, and it allowed me to then create my own map.
Wonderful! What a great experience and journey to just immerse yourself for 2 years.
Yes, it was. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience and gift.
Wonderful. And so at that time, did you know, or did you have the vision at that time that this would actually blossom into what it is today?
I feel like my soul knew, and it was my soul that was guiding me. Then anything. I didn't know. I just listened within. I cultivated tools of listening within, with the support of then my Native American elders. I went to ceremonies and started seeing how ritual dance is the formula in which I want to dedicate my life to. And so just creating these different tools and modalities and dancing with them then created the sanctified expression of my work.
So how hmm, so how did you come to practice with the Native American arts?
Yes.
We jump now from the Eastern arts, right? The East Indian arts into the Native American arts. How was that influenced?
So I was experiencing shape shifting when I was
Oh.
my body would shapeshift into animals, shapeshift into um, spirit guides, and if anyone from the outside world would hear what I'm experiencing, probably would like she's a little bit off. Sacred container to express what I'm experiencing, and of course the community, the sangha that I was living with, directed me, and I was invited to, after expressing what I was experiencing, I was invited to an actual Native American ceremony, a dance
Mm.
called Raya, and it was and is till today is guided, led by a chief called Clyde Hall, and he's Shoshone Indian. And I went, and when I went for the first dance, and there was preparation for 3 months of preparing, I was gate kept by an elder, and when I arrived, I was home, and I became part of the Dream Council of Elders and supported as a Dream Council member, and participated in these ceremonies for about 13 years.
Wow.
And so it's from them that I created what I call the medicine wheel of Dance of Liberation. So Dance of Liberation is based on 7 foundations, and the 7 foundations have been inspired by the 7 directions, the wheel, the medicine wheel. And so I created something that is authentic to me that now I facilitate and train other teachers to lead and teach. And it's been inspired by my Native American elders and by Wilbert Alex, who I trained and apprenticed for 3 years.
Mm. And was that here in California, or was that still back east?
With Wilbert Alex, it's actually in Hawaii. So he does his trainings there.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, we have to meet up with him as well. That's so the basis of Dance of Liberation is the yoga, the shamanic healing arts, the Native American healing arts, all brought together.
Yes, it's a modern day vision quest.
That's isn't that interesting? Because in my mind, it was like, what did they call that when people go on these journeys? So can you tell us a little bit more about now the Dance of Liberation and what you actually do in it? Because again, we want people to understand that it's not about a dance like ballet or jazz, what people know as dance. Can you elaborate on that and articulate it to our audience?
As I said, we have a map, and we create that map by going and creating sacred space. That's the first foundation of Dance of Liberation. The second foundation is power of intention. So it's really important to be clear and to solidify what it is you're dancing for in that moment, what it is that you're releasing, what it is that you are wanting to receive. And within that, you're creating a foundation that you're entering into the dance with. And then the third foundation is the breath. And of course, we know that without breath, we can't live. And with this very specific breath, shaman's breath, it's really a doorway into the trance, to let go and really surrender. And then the fourth foundation, which I have right here, because I build an altar anywhere I go, and my altar is built here, is, as you can see, the blindfold. And I'll just take a moment and I'll put it on so that the viewers can see, because really what this is about is when the blindfold goes on, that's when we really go on our own personal vision quest, where we can let go of the outside world and where we can, you said so well, let go of judgment. And what
Hmm.
we're doing is we're creating a portal, we're creating a space in order to disconnect from the outside world and go within. And so this is what I've been doing for 30 years, is really blindfolding myself, really be able to then facilitate the work for others, and be impeccable with the journey that I have taken for myself, and teach others in the way that I was taught when this blindfold went on. So I will take this off now because I would like to continue to see you, the viewers. Oh, it's so good to just put that blindfold on, because I've experienced just an immense amount of truth that comes when my eyes are closed, or again when the blindfold is on. So that's the fourth foundation, is the blindfold, and then the fifth foundation is the music. And for many years, I had a resident DJ by the name of Fabian Al Sultani, who actually I was married to, and now is my best friend. We've divorced, and he DJ'd for me all around the world.
Mm.
Um, I DJ myself now. I also have live drumming, which is exquisite. And with the music, again, the music is a way for the body to begin to listen in a deeper way. And so we use traditional trance music, and we also use global world music for the journey. So we're up to the sixth foundation, the dance. So the dance is either 45 to an hour to 10 hours. I've had people dancing for
Wow.
on retreat with me. So it really depends how long the extended workshop is, and that it speaks for itself. And then the seventh foundation is returning home, and that's when the dancer comes back from their experience, and we actually have a sharing circle, and the dancer can share what they experienced. That's really important. It's like we say, how do we take yoga off the mat? How do we take the dance off the dance floor and really live what the dancer experienced?
Mm.
That's in a nutshell the seven foundations and the experience of the dance. And then so much happens once the dancer is dancing.
My goodness. I have to tell our viewers, well, I sort of experienced a little bit of this during the Tadasana Festival here in Los Angeles a few months ago, where Parashakti had this huge, enormous tent filled with at least 100 or more, 120 people, I would think, in that room. And it was because I was, of course, filming at the same time, so I could experience little pieces of it here and there. But you could really feel that energy in that room just keep building upon itself and building and growing and growing. And it was such a beautiful energy. Like people would come in, I don't remember, it was like middle of the morning. Some were tired from another yoga experience. They were fatigued. And some people, just bring in whatever energy they bring in. And with the moment those blindfolds went on, that was so amazing to see everything begin to shift, because I do believe because the judgment was taken away. And it's such a different sensation to not be able to see anything, right? It's a sense of trust in oneself. But that whole, the energy of the tent started to just explode. I mean, it was like it was coming out beyond the walls of the tent. And these were tents with high ceilings. And it was just magnificent to see, it's almost like rainbow colors just emerging out of that tent. It was fascinating. And it was so fascinating that my whole body resonated with it, to the point where when I was interviewing Parashakti and Himalaya, who they were both working together, I was still in tears. So that was just a little experience that I had. And Parashakti, do you recall, was it like an hour and a half that you spent with everyone that day?
It was a 2 hour class.
Was it a 2-hour class?
I believe so.
Now, do you feel that it makes a difference how large the group is? Do you do individual sessions? Do you always do the group sessions?
Right.
Um,
I have different programs, and I have my soul healing program that combines dance of liberation, and that's one on one. That's the really the movement therapy that I work with my clients with, and then I have groups up to 500, 1,000 people, where I facilitate dance of liberation. So this can be done individually. It can be done once you really actually, because I have a book coming out, and the book itself has instructions on how to create dance of liberation in your own home, because it is an inner practice. And also it's the most amazing thing to do, and I dare to say this, but in a club, because I lead holistic raves in New York City. And
wow.
the last one we did was actually in a real deal nightclub in Brooklyn. And it's profound doing it there, because you're basically, bridging the gap between club culture and spirituality. And it's fascinating to see how people who perhaps would need something, to induce something in order to reach ecstasy, they are putting the blindfold and reaching ecstasy.
Magnificent. Now that is, was that just recent that you started that?
No, actually, the first version of the holistic nightclub was called Body Temple. And it was with an amazing group, what I call a dream council, that came together. The founder is Mark Sklauer. I have to just mention him because he is a phenomenal brother and friend, and we still work together in New York City. And we had Alok, who is now left us. He lives in Israel, and he's doing everything there. And then we had Fabian Al Sultani, my ex-husband, and we were all sitting around the fire and envisioning this great creation that we did for 5 years. And we started off with 75 people, and then we had 500 people a month. And it's an all-night rave, and there's no bar, and we serve all live vegan food. And as I said, we teach people to reach ecstasy without taking it. So the most recent one was in collaboration with Aladdin Productions in New York City, in Brooklyn. And it was interesting. It was an interesting thing, because at midnight, a whole new community came in, and they definitely came into something that was, blessed and created before they came in. So it was about us taking the vibration and raising it for them.
Wow.
O'clock in the morning.
Wow. I would love to see that. That's amazing.
Create this in LA, so it will happen. So I'll just say that first we started off with Body Temple, and then we were, as I said, we decided to part ways, the visionaries of this of the holistic rave, and then I created myself the new version of it, and it's called Illuminate. And I was facilitating it at the Open Center in New York City, and then the last recent one was at a club called SRB's in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's magnificent. And what about children? Do you work with children?
I work with teens, and I have the great gift of working with teens at the Omega Teen Camp. So I just recently led a dance of liberation for 130 teens.
Wow.
You, the future generation, as the Hopi say, is what we've been waiting for, because they can take these teachings and they can pass them on and experience them in ways that we, I can't say that we can't, but it's something else to work with teens. Really profound.
And how about younger than that? Have you experienced working with kids younger than that, like, below 12?
No, and I actually would love to. I would love to start working with younger kids. So what I will say to that is that once I am fully finished with my movie and my book is published, then I'm going to, I'm going to enter into a new venture with Dance of Liberation, because I really see Dance of Liberation being, there's no age limit. There's anyone can do it, and that's what I love about the practice. There's no level to it. It's not level 1, level 2, level 3. It's anyone can show up.
Right.
Anyone can show up. And you said at the beginning where, some people will say, "Oh, dance." The truth of the matter is that everyone can dance, and I've proven it. I've worked with every single community you can imagine of adults, and I've had such resistance and fear and hesitation, and it's amazing. They surrender, they put the blindfold on, and they create an intention, and everyone can create an intention, right? And the body starts to move. The body starts to sway and move and feel and express itself. So
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And the music. I mean, that does the music, your choice of music, does that make a difference for you? I mean, because um, the little portion of a rave that I have ever experienced, I mean, it was really loud, and it was like the bass was going, and it was like just that whole, like pump up the volume kind of feel. Um, what I mean, what can they do it to any kind of music? Can they? What do you suggest?
that's a great question. And in my book, I'm going to have a great compilation CD by Fabian El Sultani, Globe Sonic, because the music is key. Again, as I said to you, I've been impeccable with this. I've been in a laboratory with it. In the first couple of years, when I closed myself off and really kind of worked with different music, I will say that the music I use today is music without words. And it's because what happens with words, and I tried this on my own, is that you automatically start to create a story.
Yes.
And so I have done the dance liberation with words, and I've done the dance liberation without words. And I see now, as a movement therapist, I can really see the dancers, the difference between when there are words and when there aren't words. So I prefer music without words. And if there are, words, they have to be words of wisdom. And, it's not like, it's just like maybe having, a mantra that can repeat itself. Because the other thing is that the music is really good when there's repetitive beats, because what that does, again, just like with the breath work, it helps the dancer go into a repetitive movement. And what a repetitive movement does is it gets them actually into a place where they begin to choreograph something much deeper from within. When it first becomes repetitive, or when the breath is repetitive. And so there's kind of a science to all of this. And as I said, in this idea that there is science and ceremony, and the movement becomes a therapy, words are definitely not part of the music.
Right.
And so, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's magnificent. Well, we should bring you together with one of our faculty members, Shanta Shri, who has designed different levels of music for meditation. And I could remember receiving one of his CDs, and it actually, I even recommend it for body workers, because it resonates in each chakra of the body. And so that's why I ask, with your dance and with the movement, and because it is to help people open and heal, what would that combination be like when you're actually focused on opening up, each of the chakras and having them really resonate to that core? Ooh, we'd be flying. Oh, I'm excited already. So your individual clients, so to say, that you work with, you mentioned soul healing. Do you combine that with your dance of liberation?
Yes. So the program of soul healing the introduction is 3 hours. And that's in order for myself and the client to really get to know each other and the work ahead. And so the first 3 hours is not with dancing. It's really what I like to call a spiritual investigation. And I use sacred path cards that are based in Native American wisdom. And I use chanting, and it's spiritual counseling. And again, it's getting the client really in touch with, as I said, the same thing with dance liberation is their intention. And through getting clear with their intention, then we create a map. And the map is different for each person. So it's it's very clear. It's not, where you just kind of fly in these other realms and you're forever healed. It's actually a lot of work. And the client comes back from what we call a shamanic journey, with a very clear understanding what are the next steps in transforming, changing, and healing their life. And it's them who are fixing themselves, which is a very important soul healing mission that I have. It's not about them coming to me to be fixed. I'm just creating the sacred space for them.
Mm, mm. Beautiful. Do you feel that a lot of people who are self-conscious about being in a group setting, that they would request that you work with them individually so that, because I know a lot of individuals that go, oh, I don't want to be moving in front of everyone else. I don't want to be, and I go, well, what if you're blindfolded and you can't see? They still don't want to be in that group environment. Whether it's judgment of themselves, whether it be, the fear of being judged, etc. Um, uh, do you find that those are the main individuals that come to you for that individual purpose?
That's a really good question. I would say that because my main service is through dance liberation for big groups, and from that I get my clients,
Mm-hmm.
that they have showed up to dance liberation, which is in group, and that's when they experience themselves a really deep shift on the dance floor, and then they want to explore that shift that they experienced. They want to get more of an understanding of what they experienced. So then they come to me and they sign up for a program. I've also had people who just first came to soul healing. In general, I would say when one is ready for this work, it calls them, and there's no turning back. There's an opportunity and a gift to really go to the next level of your life when doing this type of work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, with the soul healing, um, is it a known process or is that also your process?
I would say that it's our process. So I say ours because, let's say you have come to me to do soul healing. It's really our process together, and the modalities that I use are, based in Native American wisdom and in just a map that I have created, that I went through myself in my own healing journey, and then see that it worked on me because I feel like that is the best school. I never went to officially a school for healing, other than my apprenticeships, and that wasn't going to school. So it was through my own journey and through my own exploration and my own healing that I created this. And so again, each person is very different, and that's what excites me so much about doing this work, because every single client that comes to me or dancer has a different mission, a different fabric, a different desire.
Mm.
And work with that and anything that comes my way. And I've worked with people with life-threatening disease, and the disease itself comes into the dance, and they dance with that essence of, their shadow, their dark side, and allow that part of them to heal through this modality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, through Dance of Liberation, with the connection of your soul healing, um, if one comes to you with, for example, a diagnosis of something major like cancer or MS or Parkinson's, and you work with them, what have you seen as the results, or what have you unfolded for them?
Well, it's beautiful because, as I said before, on the dance floor, with that intention that you just spoke, that you just asked about, there is a language that the body has, and it's a different language when it's ill, and so the body starts to move in certain ways that allows the actual illness to speak to the dancer. So the cancer, let's say, it has a voice, and within the seclusion of darkness, you can actually hear that voice, and that voice is an emotional part of the person's body, and when you start to hear what that illness is, or what that illness, I would say, needs from the dancer, then there is a union there that happens on the dance floor where the dancer is no longer dancing with the illness. It's actually dancing in collaboration.
Mm,
There is a way to actually listen to what this illness needs. Now, conventional medicine for cancer, that's one route, and an important route. And with that, I would say that being able to dance with it is the way that actually emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, one can really delve deeper into why perhaps they got that illness, or they get very clear answers.
mhm, mhm. Interesting. Interesting. Now, through this process, have you seen these imbalances take a turn?
I did. Yes, I had the great honor of living at the Tree of Life in Arizona, in Patagonia, and Dr. Gabriel Cousins has, his clients there come with life-threatening disease, and he puts them on a green juice fast, and he takes them through,
Mm,
his philosophy and the raw life vegan diet and the meditation and the yoga and all of it, spiritual practices. And so, with that, I got to see how, through these modalities, that yes, there is a major turnaround. Now, I will say that follow up is very important. You can't just do a green juice
yes.
fast and your life is healed. It's a lifelong commitment. It's a change in lifestyle.
Hmm.
That really is what, when one is sick with a life threatening disease, they have to commit to a lifestyle change.
Yes.
And it's not just one thing, and everyone's also different. So it's a new way of living your life, especially when you're dealing with an illness like that, like cancer.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that. And the beauty of all these different modalities is uh, everyone being so different that one will resonate for one individual and not for another, etc. As we go down the line. So this, but what you're doing, which is about dance, a dear mentor of mine calls it body wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
remove what we think up here
Right.
so that we step out of our own way and allow what our own cells begin to say to us and listen and become aware. And that's why I believe what you have and what you are gifting everyone with is an amazing and very precious gift. And the thing is trying to get the people to come and feel, because the ones with the very major imbalances, many of them, it's because of certain things that they've put up in their own life's journey. And it's those things that have prevented them to move forward and move through, hence why the imbalances start to manifest in the body and in the physical form. So have you been introduced to people like that where you've got a family member going, Parashakti, can you speak to my father? Or can you speak to my brother? It's, I understand what you're saying about, when a person's ready, they will come. But have you had those requests before where people are going, how do we do this?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so much resistance and there's so much fear. I would say in general, people have their comfort zone, and we're asking them to put a blindfold on. That's really getting out of their comfort zone. We're asking them to dance blindfolded, forget it. So, I deal with these resistances and fears all the time. And there's even a collective fear that is
Yes.
on the dance floor. And the next really level of dance liberation is, when you train with me, you actually learn energetically how to work with these fears and these resistances that are all energy, and they come dancing on the dance floor. So the level of training with me again is learning how to, as a gatekeeper, as a teacher, how to work with those types of energies. And there's ancient practices with feathers and rattles and
Mm.
drums that actually can release those energies from the dance floor. But going back to your question, so what I said before is that I encourage these fears, these limitations, these inhibitions to come and dance on the dance floor. I love working with that. I can have the converted, the yogis come and let go. I also love the ones who, will be on the side and say, I can't do this. It's them that I want to work with.
Yes. Yes. The ones that are ready to let go, they're going to let go. And I agree with you, as the ones that are really almost trapped, I want to say, that is, the gift of just helping them find that key and opening that doorway is just so beautiful, isn't it? The light that comes out is so magnificent.
It's huge.
Now, what about people who have certain, what society would call disabilities? They could be paraplegics, etc. Like they have, a physical form that prevents them from actually standing on 2 feet and moving and jumping and etc. I mean, what about working with people on those levels?
So as I said, and perhaps I didn't say this on this interview, but in general, what I do say on the dance floor when I give the teachings is that there's no rules or regulations for dance of liberation. So you can actually lay on the ground and just move your toe, and energy will flow through you. So the movement itself is the catalyst. It's the invitation to move things through you. And if there is a disability, one can work with that on the dance floor for sure.
Mm.
I danced in a cast when I had my first injury, and I started doing my own dance therapy because I couldn't sit still like the doctors told me. I danced with a cast, and that's when actually the most amazing inner choreography came out, because I was dancing with my pain, my physical pain, and my emotional pain while being in a cast.
Mm.
It brought forth so much wisdom and so much actually inner knowledge that I did not have before the injury.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In order to get initiated, you have to go through some, as I call it, the dark night of the soul, an injury, a breakup, a trauma. And what they say is, experiences, we lose parts of our soul. We give our power away.
Yes.
And so self-healing modality allows you to retrieve these lost parts of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, and when it empowers us, because we're the ones who have retrieved it ourselves. It's not someone is giving it to us, as you say, and that's why your work is so powerful, is allowing that person to tap into their own inner power.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So beautiful, Parashakti. That's wonderful. Parashakti, as we come close to the top of our hour, what would you like to share with our audience? I know that for me, I would love to have you back and actually cover another hour on just your soul healing practice, because I do believe that in itself is very powerful. But what would you like to share with our audience that we may not have covered today?
Well, I'll just say I'd love to come back, and I'd love to actually either offer you the experience of going through a soul healing where the audience can really receive how this works, or we could bring someone who will go through the process. So we can talk more about that. And if you're viewing and you want to be our client for the show, then get in touch with Yoga Hub.
Yeah. And also, the best way for our audience to find you as well. Would you like to share with us the name of your website and your Twitter handle and your Facebook so that our audience can continue to follow you?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is parashakti.org. And I'm actually right now in LA, and I'll be in LA on and off, but I'm going to be starting to facilitate DOLs starting in November in LA. I'm now doing a little bit more travels before I will probably more settle here in LA. So just for those who want one-on-one soul healing in Los Angeles, starting officially in November, I will be available for that. And my Twitter is Shakti for you. So it's Parashakti, the number 4 and the letter U. And what else? My Facebook. I just had to start a new account because I had over 5,000 friends. The best is actually I have a fan page, and it's Parashakti Dance. So join my fan page. That would be awesome.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm just learning that Facebook, you can only have 5,000 friends and then it's done. I'm going, wait a minute, what do you do after that? So how wonderful that you've reached that. So thank you so much, Parashakti, for sharing with us your gifts and your wisdom. And did we lose your audio again right as we're coming to a close?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now you've just come back again. Okay.
I just want to close too, and just take a moment, and perhaps we can both close our eyes and thank you for holding such profound space for all of us to be able to come on your show and be able to express our mission and our heart's commitment to the planet's healing. And I want to honor you again, just again and again, for just making this happen, and for your own personal journey that I hope one day to continue and be of support to you and be of service to you for. So we say, like saying Jai, we say Aho.
Aho. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Parashakti. It's always a pleasure. And, my vision of sharing all these modalities that will help individuals. One drop is 1,000 waves. And if one person listens to this and is able to shift their lives, that is what's important to us here. And that is our goal. And because from that one person, what you do and the gifts that you have brought to us will continue to just manifest and create peace and balance, because if we find it within us, that's what is going to start to emanate around the world. So hopefully we will be able to somehow bring you to, and really you're already global, I would say, because you are already in other countries, but you're not in Asia yet, are you? Time to take you over there and play. So I would like to thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your journey with us today. And thank you everyone for joining us and supporting us with this new platform of education and information. We are grateful for your continuous support, and we look forward to hearing from you on how we can support you better. So again, we look forward to having you join us next week for Trinity of Life at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Tuesdays with our wonderful co-host, Dr. Glenn Woolman, at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 Eastern Time, as we have wonderful guests on those shows, wonderful specialists and doctors, allopathic and Eastern modalities as well there. So we look forward to having you join us here on yogahub.tv every week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and it will be expanding. So we look forward to having you back with us again. Thank you so much, and until then, namaste.